This Guy's Garage. Like and subscribe.
As mentioned, my name is Mike McDonald, and I'm currently the Senior Assistant Deputy Minister, and I work in the Office of the Chief Information Officer of Canada, which is housed at the Treasury Board Secretariat.
Mr. McDonald, on what date did you first read the July 20th, 2021 CSIS memo that indicated that an MP, who we now know as MP Chong, and his family were being targeted by the Beijing regime, and that Beijing's intelligence service, the Ministry of State for Security, had taken specific actions to target other Canadian MPs, as we now know, MPs Kwan and O'Toole? When did you first read that memo?
Thank you for the question. Madam Chair, I don't have an exact date when I first read that memo, but it was in the spring or early summer of this year.
You were the National Security and Intelligence Advisor to the Prime Minister on July 20th, 2021. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct, Madam Chair.
And that is the date of that memo. We know that it was sent to PCO. According to the testimony of Jody Thomas, it was sent on July 20th, 2021. So, or I should qualify that or correct that. She said in July of 2021 it was received by PCO. So, where did it go in PCO? Why did you not see that memo at that time?
A few things for some context, and thank you for the question, by the way. As has been explained previously, and certainly based on my experience working in the national security community, intelligence is sent out and shared through various means. Some, for example, I was provided intelligence when I was in my role through the electronic system, through the top secret classified system. I could be provided intelligence by some of the analysts. Sometimes people would prepare briefing packages for me. And in the cases where, for example, I would be of interest in certain issues at play, I would ask the client relations officer at CSE, based on my requirements at the time, to create intelligence and information. So the point I'm trying to make here, sir, is there are a variety of ways in which intelligence moves into the system.
Well, thank you for that. It went, though, to PCO in July of 2021. It eventually made its way into the reading package of Mr. Morrison, who returned to his role after you completed filling it on an interim basis. So do you have any details as to who it went to at PCO in July of 2021, who would have been involved, and how it would have eventually made its way into the reading package for Mr. Morrison, I believe on August 17th of 2021?
Thank you for the question. Chair, I can confirm that the document, the intelligence assessment, did not come directly to me. I have checked my personal holdings back when I was still working for the Privy Council office. Where it went in the Privy Council office, when it was sent out, and what other offices, I don't know. I don't track, or I do not have knowledge of where it went. If you refer to Ms. Thomas's testimony, it did go to several other departments, deputy ministers. I can only surmise that it went to places in PCO where most intelligence is actually sent into for forward distribution and or printing in packages and so on.
So where would that be? Where would that be at PCO?
One of the places, as has been mentioned in previous testimony, would have been the office of the NSIA, and there are perhaps other places. I'm not familiar with the distribution of intelligence in PCO.
Well, it's concerning that it was not brought to your attention, that it only made its way into the reading package of Mr. Morrison, which he testified he doesn't recall reading at the time, what was, as he characterized, a 9-page memo, as if that is prohibitive in terms of seeing. This was the second memo, it should be noted, that went to the PCO, to eventually the Prime Minister's National Security Advisor, the first being the IMU in May of 2021. Mr. Rigby said that he had not received that IMU, but we now learn that, in fact, that had been sent to Mr. Rigby in May of 2021. So it seems to me that what we have is a breakdown of communication on information that is about as serious as it gets, involving the targeting of multiple MPs, including the family of one whose family was in Hong Kong, is in Hong Kong, in the immediate lead-up to an election, information that ultimately resulted in the expulsion of a Beijing diplomat. So would you at least concede that that information should have been brought to your attention?
Thank you for the question. There was a lot there. I think I'll address your last point, your last question. And I rely on and stand by and agree with the testimony of several previous witnesses. And if I look at one of the comments that was made, there was a breakdown in process, not only a breakdown in process, but I think insufficient process, and we have rectified those problems. And I think what's important here is a recognition that information was not shared when it should have been shared, and that quickly systems are in place now, and changes have been effected extremely quickly, in which to ensure that doesn't happen again.
Mr. MacDonald, you stated that you first learned of the July 20th, 2021 memo sometime in the spring of 2023. Did you first learn about it when it was reported in the Globe and Mail on May 1st of 23?
Thank you for the question. Yes, that is my recollection of the events.
Thank you. And I recognize you were in the role as National Security and Intelligence Advisor for only the span of 2.5 weeks, fair enough, but you were in the role of Assistant Secretary to the Cabinet for Intelligence and Security before and after, all the way until 2023. And would you concede or agree, at least, that this is the type of information that probably should have crossed your desk, and the fact that it didn't, would you agree that that is concerning? For 2 years.
Thank you for the question. Again, Chair, I actually echo what many people have said, and that there needs to be better ways in which intelligence is not only shared, but it's identified and flagged for individuals where there's a reason for it to be.